All right, so this dumpster fire on the whole media side of fishing is still going on. Last week, after I uploaded my little video on Jacob Fouts, Ben Milliken come forward and literally broke it down. All the questions that Jacob had essentially got answered by Ben, by Mr. Milliken, on exactly what the deal is. And if you guys haven't watched that video and you really want to understand, what the state of fishing is like, the dude absolutely annihilated it. The only thing I wish he would have added was how the recession in 2008 sort of played an impact, but not exactly. He really went into detail about how COVID affected the fishing industry, but I think it really started in 2008. But that's for his video. You guys go and watch that. But I will say he definitely put it all out there as a business owner, like he is. He works very close. I think he's part owner with 6 Cents. He's got Waterland sunglasses. The dude's in the industry. The dude is the kind of guy that you want to be going into something like the Elite Series. Businessman first and fisherman second, and that's exactly what he's doing. We've seen other people kind of do the same thing. Robert Turkla from Lunkers TV, if you guys have, surely you're subscribed to him. He's got 2 million subscribers. But he kind of did the same thing, and he will make a return in this video for something here in a little bit. But he did fish the MPFL. I know he's done some Bassmaster Opens, a bunch of different things throughout his career, but he is 99% a businessman. The professional fishing, everything in professional fishing was started as business, to make sales. That's why fishing came to be. That's what Ray Scott had in mind years ago. A platform for people to compete, but also as a businessman, he knew what he was doing. But that's for later on in this video. I got some notes here, and the first thing that I wanted to start off talking about is Randy Blocket's reaction to the whole Ben Milliken thing. That was super, super strange, and we'll get into why that circles back to the whole Rob Turkla Lunkers TV thing. But, man, it seems like Randy completely ignored the whole video that Ben pretty much made. Randy always talks about how there's not money in fishing anymore. It's hard to make a living. And Ben completely explained it. He explained why it's like that. And the only thing that it seems like Randy got out of it is that Ben's a Livescoper. He uses Livescope. He only catches all these fish because of Livescope. In the rebuttal video that he made, he did not in any way, shape, or form tell people that Ben was right. And he was. Ben completely broke everything down. Perfect. He's in the industry. He's a businessman. Does he catch a lot of fish on Livescope? Absolutely. I believe Ben has like 500,000 subscribers on the Milliken channel, and a lot of those people watch him catch giant bags on Livescope. But he will straight up tell you that the majority, or at least a good portion of his fish that got him to the elites, didn't come from Livescope. The dude can catch them. He caught them for plenty of years, grew a massive following before being a businessman, so to speak, with 6 Cents and Waterland, just off of fishing on the bank, just off of fishing with the boat that he had, no Livescope, no anything. Of course, whenever he got Livescope, that completely changed the deal, and that's what Randy's after, is the whole Livescope thing. He is so anti-Livescope, but it's strange because he wants the industry to grow back to what it once was, and all the money and this and that, but he doesn't want to change, right? He'll never, I know he used Livescope with Johnny, with Fish the Moment, but he will never actually get it on his boat. See, for people to make money nowadays, it seems like you have to be able to use forward-facing sonar in some capacity. A lot of people are like Randy, and they don't like the whole Livescope deal, but they use it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do in some ways. I think it's cheating. I think it shows you a lot more of the fish that you miss versus the ones that you actually catch, and that can make it even more difficult, in all honesty. All it's doing is giving you a target, though, and it seems like Randy doesn't accept that. But I know back in the day when Randy was, in the tour making money, back then, whenever they first come out with 2D, that was cheating. When they come out with down imaging, that was cheating. Side scan, Lord, I remember that. I was old enough to comprehend what was happening with that. And everybody thought that side scan was cheating. And now here we are with live sonar, which is probably the best that we can do. I really don't know if it can get any better than that. And Randy's still riding the whole it's cheating bandwagon. But he wants there to be money back in the sport again for people my age, young guys. His thought process just doesn't make sense on that. Randy, Ben used you as an example of why the industry hasn't grown, okay? He made the statement in his video that you haven't caught a bass since 1982. He understands that's not true. You've caught fish in opens and invitationals, whatever else you've fished, but it's still good to use you as an example for this, because you don't want the industry to move forward. Whenever all these giant fish finder companies, get a new product such as Livescope and they're trying to promote it, and then they've got somebody like you trying to downplay that in the industry, that doesn't help anything. That doesn't help your case. That doesn't help the industry grow. The best thing that you can do is take that for what it is, use it as momentum, and these new younger guys like me that are coming in and actually understanding the technology and how to use it, and understanding the fact that it doesn't 100% just make the fish jump in your boat. That's key. That's what you need to understand out of it. It's not that hard. That's just the way that the industry is going now. And I get that a lot of people don't like that. It's not what Randy preaches. With that being said, though, a lot of what Randy does preach is correct. A lot of the tips, the tricks, the tactics, all that's legit. I've seen the past couple of days him upload some stuff on jerkbaiting, and I myself have learned quite a bit from that. I'm not the best at jerkbaiting out there, but I've learned some stuff that I'm going to use this winter from Randy Blocket. And I think it's important to understand where your space in the industry is, Randy. You're on the right path, but the whole Livescope thing and your hatred towards it, your dislike towards it, isn't helping the industry grow. It's better to just take, the fact that you're not top dog anymore, and use the knowledge that you do have, just like you do growing this YouTube channel that's honestly grown a ton more than I thought it would ever be for somebody that literally just gets on and complains about Livescope. I know you said in your video that you don't complain and this and that, but we've all seen the videos. You're kind of complaining a little bit. It is what it is, though. We even had David Fritz pop up on Low Budget Live this week and talk about how money isn't the same way as it used to be. A lot of it is in marketing now. That's what this video, my last video, has been mostly focused on. It's all marketing. David said in his video that whenever he won the Classic, it was like 50,000 or something like that, and then it grew exponentially. Same thing with the Forest Wood Cup. It was 50,000, 100,000. It went to 200,000, $500,000, and then it went up to $1 million prize. That's whenever we had all these non-endemics and whatnot in the fishing space, and that just doesn't exist anymore. The whole FLW, Walmart, Everstart, Sonic, this and that, it doesn't exist anymore. It kind of exists a little bit more with Major League Fishing, just a little bit for all their cups and whatnot. But as far as, like it was back in the mid-2000s all the way up to, 2012, I think that the last good paying Forest Wood Cup was the last one, or the next to last one. It was still a good chunk of change. It was like $200,000, I believe. I know I saw Brad Knight won, and he had a trophy or a plaque for like $200,000. Those days are gone. That's said and done. Maybe they can work out something in Major League Fishing. They've got so many changes happening now. I don't know how anybody wants to invest in that company exactly, but hopefully they'll get it all figured out, because Major League Fishing is kind of good in a way, but they just need to figure out how they want to do everything. So let's slide up into the video that Randy posted today, which was about Rob Turkla on Chris Zaldane and Trait Zaldane's podcast, The Bilge. Rob is an OBS kind of guy. I've met Rob quite a few times. He helped blow my YouTube channel up. I know how he rolls. I've seen how he rolls. He gives some great stories on how they kind of threw the whole Guggen thing into the industry, how the industry works, how he pretty much left the fishing side of social media to go do his own company and cards and whatnot. And Rob absolutely hit the nail right on the head, explained everything just as well as Ben did. He even went into a deeper dive than Milliken did. And even though there is some, I assume, bad blood between them, I think I heard some rumbling about that before, they're both very smart, and they're both very much have a huge impact on this industry that I so much love, and I know a lot of people love. A lot of people make their living on it. And man, Rob he said it like it was. And that's what's really interesting to me is we got Randy posting a video this morning talking about how he's siding with Rob. And exactly what he said. What he said throughout the whole video. He was on point. Lunkers TV said it just like it was. He never said that for Ben Milliken. And the reason why has got to be the whole Livescope / Randy hasn't caught a bass since 1982 kind of deal. Is that really that big of a deal, Randy? They both said the exact same thing. The only difference is Rob went into greater detail and talked about his success on just about everything. That's what he is. He literally talked about getting in a space, growing that space, and then moving on, just as he's done with fishing. And then he went on to talk about, some of the new stuff that's going to be happening with Guggen, them taking over the market, normal Rob stuff, and he has every right to talk about it because that's pretty much what Guggen did. And they did a very good job of it. Rob is nothing but a businessman. The thing that I did notice is, Rob went on tour for a little bit. He fished the MPFL. I know that he did the Opens and whatnot years ago. But he never talked about his whole Livescope thing, right? I mean, he had it on his boats. If you watch any of his videos, he definitely had it. He just didn't blow it out of proportion like Ben did, which Ben did an amazing job. He always does an amazing job with his Livescope videos. But I think that's the difference. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't gone back to look, but I remember Rob possibly saying something about Randy and not growing the sport in the video. Somehow Randy completely ignored that part, but whatever. It seemed like the same kind of punches being thrown to me, but maybe Randy didn't take it like that, and it is what it is. Maybe he liked Rob's presentation better, even though he didn't bring out the whole whiteboard and everything like Ben did. He laid it out on the table. It's like a 2-hour-long podcast on Chris's channel. I will have all 3 of these videos, I guess, linked in the description. Randy's kind of had a rebuttal to every one of them. But I think the important takeaway here is the industry is growing. You've either got to do like Ben and Rob and go with it and grow with it and understand that it's changing, or you're going to be stuck in the past, like Randy is. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with not using electronics and just going fishing. John Cox has done it on the MPFL, FLW, and Bassmaster Elites for years now, and he still does a fine job out there. He did talk about adding Livescope, I think, next year, but either way, he doesn't need it. He just wants to use it to, save time and understand better what he's looking at. So that's my rant on that. You need to either stay in your lane, Randy, or learn how to adapt, just like everybody else has. You've done a great job marketing yourself because, look at what you've done. You have a huge YouTube channel. You've made some awesome baits that have been sold recently on Baitworks and whatnot. They're a little bit pricey, but that's just kind of the way it is, especially for something as customized as your jigs and whatnot. You've done the lessons with Johnny on Fish the Moment, which have done really well, and yeah, you've made some great partnerships. But just remember to stay in your lane. You've made some great partnerships throughout the years. You've been with Bridgeford forever. You've been with Mega Bass forever. You worked with Johnny on Fish the Moment, which was an awesome bit of content that I know a lot of people got value from. I certainly did. And yeah, you've been doing good just staying like that. Drop the Livescope, understand what's happening in the market, and roll with it because you're doing a good job. You're making a living. That's what this whole thing has been about, people making a living and having problems. It all started with the Jacob Fouts thing and him talking about how he doesn't make his money, which is, that's something he will learn from. But I think that's a great place to leave this off. I hope you learned something about what's going on right now. I highly encourage you to go check out these videos I've been speaking about. They're kind of long, but I tried to give you a little bit of a breakdown. You can figure the rest out yourself. But yeah, man, crazy times in the fishing industry. Who knows what's going to happen next.